Hello, time to start the video. Now, today we shall discuss a specific concept: honor. Now, the idea of honor carries many interpretations and associations. Depending on where you're from or what you believe, it could be honorable to, say, charge an enemy in a last stand, or fight off an enemy horde, or even just sit down and disagree with someone quietly. Furthermore, honorable behavior is usually defined by virtues. Now, as anyone with a brain would know, virtues among different peoples are varied. So, if we have people here, depending on culture, location, situation, and creed, you will find different conclusions about honor and what is acceptable to do. With that comes a few things. For one, based on culture and creed, you naturally have the conclusions of social virtues. So, what is socially acceptable in normal locations and conditions. And then you have individual honor based on the situation and location people are in. For example, murder is not usually considered an honorable act. However, if it is done to save another person from slavery, then depending on the individual, that can be seen as an honorable act due to the individual matter which resulted in the conclusion. And finally, both pull together to naturally reach the whole idea of honor for an individual, which is characterized again by social conditions. For example, a Brit will hold different views on honor than an American, than a Chinese person, than Japanese, Persian, number. Meanwhile, the location will also vary, resulting in individual honor being modified by social honor and vice versa, resulting in a personal creed and personal beliefs about what is honorable or not. For example, I do not consider fighting unfair to be dishonorable. This is largely due to my beliefs regarding winning and ensuring others are safe. Now, as Americans, generally a fair fight is considered an honorable thing, but recognizing that other lives are at stake, in such situations where they are, I hold that it is honorable to fight as necessary. When lives are on the line, there is no carry-on for outdated concepts such as fairness. Simultaneously, if you'd ask a Japanese person, they would likely respond differently. Any individual really would respond differently. Some agreeing for different reasons, others disagreeing for many reasons. And there are many ways that one can look at this. Now, in truth, I do believe there is some level of objectivity to honor. That may seem rather, how should I put this, wrong? But because every creed, every culture, situation, and location is based off Earth, our world, at least for now, then there are natural similarities that must come about because of it. Furthermore, we share this universe. There's no disputing that. Even dogs share this universe with us. And I like dogs. They deserve to share the universe with us. But that does mean, as well, that there's a certain universality to existence. Because it's not like we're going from one world to another with different rules and different regulations. We are, in nature, under the same rules, same conditions. And so, there's some level of universality to honor. Now, it's not completely universal, but it is partially universal. For example, fighting for no reason is generally considered dishonorable. It's actually almost always considered dishonorable. However, fighting for another or for a cause is almost universally seen as honorable. You can never get exact because within good there's also evil, and so you'll always have the people who just straight up do not care about honor and will say it's acceptable regardless. But, that being said, you can still find common trends even among different groups of people. And in particular, there's one area where honor matters a lot. War. A lot of people look at honor and war as almost necessary for each other. How true that is, I'd say not really, considering honor can be impacted by a number of things, and can come from a number of actions, not all relating to war. For example, a parent taking care of their child is something I would consider a very honorable act. The last time I checked, parents aren't going out into gunfire just to make sure their kid has some dino nuggets. But war is essentially the pinnacle of what people would classify as a place where people gain honor or do honorable acts. And there are many beliefs centering around what is honorable in war. For example, death before dishonor, or the idea that one should not stop fighting until one is dead, essentially. Never surrender. Simultaneously, there's also the belief that fighting for your country is honorable, or making, and I don't like saying this word, but it is a quote, making some other poor bastard pay for his, is also considered honorable in certain situations. Now, truthfully, I have a slightly different view. The honor in war comes not from violence or anything like that, but rather from saving lives. Making sure people can get home. Now, that does not mean war should not occur. I am rather much a hawk in that regard, and I am more than fine with saying war should be declared. However, with that being said, there is no honor in needless destruction. The honor comes from the results, the ensuring of people having good lives, having protection, and being able to being able to live safely and happily. A soldier who sacrifices his life for his friends is more honorable than a man who kills 100 of the enemy. Because he, the one who has chosen to save his friends, has willingly given his life for others, and thus allowed others to experience the great joy that is living. Cutting down lives is just part and parcel for war. It is not an honorable act, nor is it dishonorable. It's just part of the territory. However, saving lives, going above the call of duty to ensure that others can make it home, that families don't have to weep. Now that is honorable. Maybe I am alone in such an opinion. Maybe I am not. But that is what I believe. Furthermore, it is not like honor should just be ignored. There is value in a moral code and holding people to a standard similar up to it. The idea that one should just ignore honor, focus purely on doing things dirty but effective, misses the point that the behavior one exhibits is transmitted to others and observed and copied and maintained through others who happen to observe or purposely choose to copy your behavior. It is why, for example, abusive parents often produce children who are themselves abusive or look to abusers for comfort. It is because, regardless of if the person wants to or not, their definition of what is acceptable is colored by the abusers in their life. As a result, they seek them out, or, in other cases, they just straight up copy it. It's not a healthy thing, but it happens. Now, this carries over with honor for an obvious reason. As people experience life, they will observe people. Some honorable, some not. And so, by being more honorable, certain people project that onto others, and thus result in them wanting to be more honorable themselves. This creates a better society, one with more trust and more values. It is a good thing, one that one should support without question. That is my conclusion. Anyways, have a good day, and I will tune in next time. Have a good one.